Good job I spotted that then. I was almost going to be on mute. Probably some people would prefer that, though. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone, welcome to episode 6 of this 8-week series brought to you by the globe's leading virtual software platform. This 8-week series is live streaming essentials, empowering small businesses and podcasts with the brilliant OneStream Live, and we thank them for being able to provide that capability for us. I'm Joe Shepherd, your host, and tonight we're diving into another exciting topic. Last week we did cybersecurity. Tonight, we are going to be looking at creating a podcast from your live stream and the reasons why and how that benefits you. And joining me tonight is a music producer and an acclaimed podcast management expert, the brilliant David Olanruwaju, or Da Vinci, is in the studio. So, as always, keep it right here for the next 30 minutes because it's Tuesday. It's 8 p.m. UK and Ireland and 3 p.m. Eastern time. And it's time for the OneStream live dose of all things live streaming and digital engagement. It's the Big Joe Show. I absolutely love that wee intro. I'm grateful to the team, our graphics team at OneStream Live for that. There we go. So before we get started and bring in our special guest, let's quickly recap what we've covered in previous episodes. So we've explored the fundamentals of live streaming, tips for engaging your audience in real time, and the various tools available to enhance your streaming experience, plus cybersecurity, as we said last week. Today, though, we're focusing really on one aspect of how to repurpose the fantastic content that you've already created. As you know, my own company, Livestream Solutions, Livestream Academy, we take the live and then we repurpose that into digital engagement business support packages. So the live show, some short video clips, download it as a podcast. Remember? Yeah, we're doing that already, and we have been since day one. Blog articles and our own social media content schedule and service. So why did we want to sort of host on this tonight? Well, why would you consider turning your live streams into podcasts? Well, as we know, podcasts are absolutely booming. But here's the thing. You don't need to go into a big studio. You don't need that footprint on the ground. So it's eco and sustainable doing live streaming. It's more engaging to begin with. But then turn it into a podcast, and we'll discuss why now. So welcome. Please help me welcome tonight. Music producer, songwriter, vocalist, podcast manager, video editor, who runs a highly, and I mean highly acclaimed, podcast management business. He is thousands and thousands and thousands of reviews on Fiverr, on Upwork. Please welcome from Nigeria, it's David Olanruwaju, otherwise known as Da Vinci. David, greetings, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Mate, thank you so much for the nice introduction.
Listen, it's too easy. Like I said, we're going to come on to why we know each other a little bit. But first of all, if you've got any questions for David tonight or for myself, ping them coming in. Here we go. We've got a hi there already. Hi, gamer. See, when we did the series on gaming, absolutely superb. How are we? We're absolutely superb. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very, very much for joining us. And let us know where you're from, whether you're watching us live and where you're from, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're a live streamer, whether you're a gamer, whether you're a business owner, and tell us what it is you want to know. And hopefully we can answer those questions. So let us get started off. A quick 30 minutes tonight, hopefully. David, tell us briefly about yourself and what you do fully, mate. Off you go.
Okay, so my name is David. Everybody calls me Da Vinci, but I'm a music producer, I'm a sound engineer, I'm a podcaster, and then I manage and edit podcasts for people, and then I'm also a vocalist. So how my to joining Fiverr style was, I used to work in a radio station. I used to be a radio producer. And so I did that for many years, and then I got tired of, doing the same thing over and over again. And as at that time, podcasting was, it was gaining grounds, and I kept hearing people listen to a lot of podcasts, and I was like, oh, how can I take my radio experience into podcasting? And so I decided to, go on Fiverr. I was signed up on an account, and then I started getting jobs very quickly. And yeah, so basically my journey started from, loving to tell stories, because music production and working in radio stations is basically all about, taking a piece of content and then telling story with it. And so that was what I basically brought into podcasting. And
Yeah.
now I've completed over 1,000 jobs on Fiverr already. And so, I'm doing good.
You're doing good, mate. You are up there with the 1%, the very best of the very best, which is like the people I like
Thank
to
you
work
so
with.
much.
And when
Yeah.
we first sort of chatted, it was so easy. So first of all, apologies. I've got a load of people just messaging me through their private on my phone that
Okay.
I haven't gone live on Facebook. If you click into the first link I put in tonight, that will be live. For some reason, the live version of this hasn't gone in. It's a Facebook problem, nothing to do with OneStream Live. Again, in between are scheduling it out, so it has gone live there. But I will reshare it again. But you can click on that, or go to OneStream Live on YouTube, or OneStream Live on LinkedIn, OneStream Live on Facebook, and you can watch us all there. Okay, on with the show. So, podcasts, as we said, offer really, David, a fantastic opportunity to for content creators to reach new audiences and engage them in a different way. The repurposing
Yes.
of podcasts, you're not just expanding that reach. You don't have to recreate things from scratch, and I love that one piece of work that you can use over and over and over. Now, actually, I usually steer away from any controversial statements, anything like that. But here tonight, I want to say to podcasters, I sit in about 20 or 30 podcast groups, and I want to say this: stop just podcasting. You get more immediate and direct engagement from a live stream show. You can then repurpose that, and one of the things you repurpose to is to a podcast using the likes of the great Da Vinci. David, tell us your thoughts on this. Podcasts, live streaming, maximizing the content through repurposing. Where do you sit, mate, and what are your thoughts on it, on doing the two things together? Why?
Okay. So I'm going to talk about this by telling a story. So I currently work with a client, and so I've been managing his podcast for I think a year right now. And so now it felt like it was time to take his podcast to the next level. So he was asking me, how can he monetize? So he planned to sell merch, and have people donate to him. But the problem now is, so people have been watching your podcast for years now, but they don't feel connected to you. So I feel like that's where live streaming, because I told him the only solution right now is to live stream. So I told him, why don't you go live on Instagram or go live on Facebook for an hour every day and see, the results. So I feel like when it comes to live streaming, it's real time, it's immediate, and people feel like they know you. They feel very attached to you. But podcasting is great because when you're live streaming and then you take your content and then you repurpose it as a podcast, you're just maximizing your reach. Now a lot more people will see you, because now instead of it just being the live stream, your podcast is now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's in so many different platforms, and now a lot more people are going to, get to hear you. So I feel like it's always great when you start with the live stream and then you turn it into, podcast episodes, and then you turn the podcast episodes into, other short form contents like reels, shorts that you can promote on social media. So that's my thoughts about it.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you. And yeah, summed it up well, and it's great. And watching tonight, actually, let's just stick this up, because this is the great Krisa Skodra from the Greek goddess of Finland. And interestingly, she has so much energy. Her background Masters in Communication and Media. She's been a radio presenter. She teaches at a university. She's one of the 3 brand ambassadors and streaming partners with OneStream Live, along with myself and the great Stephen Healy. And this morning, she runs her own podcast as well. And this morning I was on her show, which goes out next week, and she is just absolutely brilliant. But saying there, also really experienced in transition to podcasting, similar paths. Great job, David. Cheers, mate Joe. To pleasure, and thanks for your support as ever, Krisa. So that's why somebody who is in the 1% of podcast management, video editing, music, writing, songwriting, vocalism, advocate, and that's what Da Vinci says. So you don't even have to listen to me. You listen to a man who's in the 1%. He is a key person of influence in what you are doing. So creating your podcast from your live stream. Okay, so not so much step by step, but we're converting them. So I'm just going to tell people that you are going to be, we're still working on the package at the moment, the 3 of us, but you are likely to be our new podcast manager and promoter for, I've got a new live stream and combined live stream and podcast with the great Susie Manley from Brisbane, Australia, who runs the 5-foot rope group plan for July. And I found Dee online and we chatted, and he just is the very best in his game. So he's going to be looking after that side. So again, for somebody who's been live streaming 7 years, people should be thinking, well, why Big Joe's pretty successful at live streaming? Why is he breaking into podcasting equally? Because we've tried it a little bit in the past, but I haven't had the time to be able to do it. So having somebody who's in the 1% who can do that will help me take myself and Susie take our new project to another level. So it's a win-win for everybody, and also promotes Dee and everything he's doing. Not that he really needs it with the amount of business he's got, but it's a great collaboration, Dee, isn't it? You know, again, to be able to do.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And also, I wanted to say something about live streaming because so personally I enjoy watching live streams. So there are people like I love watching, and I also love watching your live stream, from time to time. But the thing about live streaming is usually very long. That's just how I feel personally. It's usually very long, and so you could sit down for like 5 hours watching a live stream. And I usually don't always have the time to watch, a 5-hour live stream. So I'll prefer you condense that 5 hour to probably like a 2 hour podcast, and then I can go and sit down and listen to that one at a convenient time. So some people like the real interactive, like the on the spot, sitting down and watching a live stream. But a lot of people prefer a simple podcast, so they can I go to the gym, I fix in my AirPods, and I'm just on the treadmill, and I'm just listening to a simple podcast. So yeah. So I feel like, if you really want to maximize your reach, you have to start, do live stream and then convert it into podcast episodes.
Superb, mate, superb. So let's turn to when we do the live stream. I download the live stream file and then I send that to you. So really, what's the core difference between the two that you'll need to focus on? And in fact, is there anything that we as live streamers should do when we're planning and preparing our own live stream that aids for when it becomes a podcast? Because previously we do the live and then we would just download it and use it for other things. But we need to start thinking now, what do you need that we can do? So what sort of things would you be looking for us? Is there much difference, Dee?
So there's not that much of a difference, but it's usually best so what we usually look out for, like when you send us your live stream videos. So usually live streams are usually very long, and we know, like with the attention span of a lot of people right now, people like very short, very concise stuff right now. And so once you send us your video, the first thing we'll do is there's something in podcasting we call trim the fat. So we don't like too much. For example, live stream now, you might go off point, you might talk about random stuff, you might make mistakes, filler words, or you might stutter too much. So when it comes to the editing, I'm going to sit down and trim, cut out a lot of mistakes. I'll make sure the episode is very concise and very straight to the point. Yeah. So I think the only thing right now that would make that you would help me right now is if you choose topics that are very chronological. So for podcasts, we always like dropping episodes that follow each other. Like the topics are, for example, you're telling a story or you start a series. So we need all these stories to follow each other so that when I listen to this episode, it leads me to the next episode.
Yeah.
And live streams are usually very spontaneous. So sometimes a person can pick this topic today, and next week they are doing something entirely different. So we just need everything to be very chronological. And also, so what I'm just trying to say is, if the live stream has a structure, it becomes easier for me to edit and put it together, as a pod. And then also when so if the live streamer is using very good studio equipment, like you're using a very good mic, you're using a very good camera, it makes my work very easy. So editing will not be difficult for me at all. Yeah. So those are the things that you can do to help.
Brilliant. And actually, in fairness to ourselves, we tend to try and structure it a little bit more. Some of the lives would be a little bit unstructured, but generally, when we write the show Run and Gordy, it's building on the story, because we do that for guests, to be honest, to make it easy for them to be able to follow through. So we're doing that, but it still now drives me to start thinking of doing the same thing in a different way. So I now need to be more focused on when I am structuring that. So actually, when myself and Susie, when we get all this together and we look at doing our show, that'll be part of the process to involve you. And I think, again, that collaboration will bring the best out. So the more preparation and planning prevents before performance, allows us both to be able to to do the stuff. So again, you've covered that editing bit. Is it easy to be able to cut out any long pauses or filler words? I mean, I can't imagine what the editing is like, but do you find that quite easy to do?
Yeah. So like I said from the beginning, I love storytelling. So I usually know how to, I feel like that's why a lot of my clients love me. I usually know how to make podcast episodes very concise. So for example, now they start telling a story that doesn't relate to this, that doesn't add to the points that they're trying to make of the podcast. So I usually know how to, pick out all those points and just take them out. So when I take them out and bring all of the very important stuff together, it creates like a very nice podcast with a very nice storyline. And then also I also know how to, so from my music production background, I know how to enhance audio. So I know how to do all of the EQs to take out the frequencies that are not good to the ears. And then I know how to add the intros and the outros and use sound effects. So I just know how to make the podcast, more engaging for listeners.
I genuinely can't wait. I think it's going to be really, really exciting to be able to do, because they are similar but disconnected as well. So that's going to be fab. Now, publishing and promoting the obviously there's several great platforms out there: Anchor, Podbean, Spotify for Creators, Buzzsprout. What are your thoughts on the various platforms and why? How do we choose and how do we reshare that to maximum effect? What's your favorite and what's your rationale behind that?
Oh, okay. So I have two favorites that I always recommend for new clients. So I just ask, what is your budget at the moment? So if you really are just starting and you don't really have, you don't have a sponsor, you don't have funding, and you just want just publish the episodes, I don't really care about the analytics, then I would advise you go for Spotify for podcasters. So Spotify for podcasters is free, and then it's a great hosting platform. I mean, you can upload as many episodes as you want, and then once you upload to Spotify for podcasters, it distributes to all of the platforms. So I'm talking Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So there are just a lot of platforms. But then if you have the money and you can afford this subscription model, then I would advise you for Podbean. So Podbean, I use Podbean with a lot of my clients, and so what Podbean offers you is with Podbean, once you upload your episode and it distributes, you get to see analytics, like in-depth analytics. You get to see how many people are listening, how many people downloaded the episode. So it helps you make better choices for like the next episode. Okay, I need to change this, I need to change that, to get more people to listen. And then with Podbean, they give you like a website. It's not like a real website, but it's like a demo website that all your episodes will be on. And the website is very easy to tweak. You can, put your title, change the colors, and yeah. So Podbean is amazing if you are not on a budget, and you can. I think it's $14 every month here for Podbean. But for Spotify for podcasters is for people that are just starting out, don't have funding, but you just want to distribute your podcast. Yeah. So I always advise my clients either try out Podbean or Spotify for podcasters.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And of course, when you don't have to tell me twice, when somebody in that 1% tells me that I need to be using Podbean, I went off and bought a year subscription of Podbean. So it's great. So, again, being able to have that analytics on the new thing, because it's myself and Susie, it's a collaboration. I'm working with you. You'll be able to sort of like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this. And that's a very sensible. And I thought actually it was very reasonable. So, but that's great, mate. Two different options there. I know our rugby show uses Spotify for podcasters, and they do that onto there as well. But here's just a question. Can we use like multi-channels on Podbean, by the way? So could we do different shows within the one account and send that off?
Yeah. So Podbean, once you create an account, I think you have access to open, so you can have different podcasts. I don't know if there's a limit right now, but I know you can have different podcasts on just one Podbean account, as long as all of the accounts belong to one person or it's from the same organization. Yes, you can have multiple podcasts on just one account.
Brilliant. Now, we know that video, so we're talking about video tonight, live streaming turning into a podcast. We know that actually podcasting is great. There is a boom in it, but video, there is nothing that's growing as fast as live streaming and video.
Yeah.
Watch this from OneStream Live. I like this minute-long video, the importance of video marketing. It really hits to the bone. Here we go.
Did you know that over 80% of internet traffic is video content? So if your brand isn't using video marketing, you're already falling behind. Short-form videos are ruling social media. Live streaming is driving real-time engagement. AI-powered video personalization is changing the game. Video isn't the future, it's now. Why does video marketing matter in 2025? Boosts engagement. People retain 95% of a message in a video versus 10% in text. Skyrockets conversions. Videos on landing pages increase conversions by 80%. Dominates social media. Platforms prioritize video content, pushing your brand to the top. If you want to grow, connect, and sell more in 2025, video marketing isn't optional. It's essential. Start now. Start with video. Start with OneStream Live. What's your video strategy for 2025? Drop us comment below.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to tonight's show. Oh, more messages coming in. Big Joe Shepard, the Big Joe Show every Tuesday with the great, here we go, look, name up and lights, brother. David Da Vinci Olaniwaju from Nigeria, who is just, listen, go and find him on, I'm going to stick up his Instagram, podcast media. Is that Podcast Magic?
Pod Magic Media.
Pod Magic Media. There we go. In fact, actually, there we go. Let's just pick it up now. So that's running along the bottom there. His Instagram business account. Instagram is Pod Magic Media. Sorry for that, mate. Great. So you can go there and find him. He is on Fiverr and he's on Upwork as well. And he's always happy. He's always happy for him and his team to take on more business. And that he's got no time in the day. He's just absolutely brilliant. That's why he's so sought after. So there we go. But you're welcome to the Tonight Show, where we are talking about turning your live stream into a podcast. We've got another message coming in there. Let's just have a wee look and see what we've got here. Hey, Joe and David, again, it's another Facebook thing, this. unless you give Facebook your permissions, we can't see who it is. But I will get back to you afterwards, because that's, I always get back and check who it is and send you a personal message reply. Thanks very much for watching the show, everybody. If you're watching us live, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're watching it on catch up, put for seeing. There we go. Okay, so the importance of video marketing from our good friends at OneStream Live. It's just so true. Audience connection. Okay, so we've said that live streaming offers a better real-time interaction, really, that can be woven then, condensed, edited by a professional like thee into your podcasts. Live streaming, obviously, audience feedback, the questions, the comments. I love the fact that we can put the live comments in there as go. How do you think that engagement you get in real time impacts the overall viewer listener experience? Being able to have that real time in live streaming, do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah. So I think that's something a lot of my clients struggle with. So I'm talking clients that don't do live stream and they just do podcast editing.
Yeah.
And they just do podcasts. So they always tell me they don't get as much engagement as like when they go live. And what I like to tell them is, so when you live stream and people are watching you, they are getting in real time, they're getting real time information. And it feels like, I don't know, there's just something about live stream that feels like you're talking to somebody you know. So when they see you, on live stream now and we're talking, people that are watching live just feel like they know us and they always want to contribute. It's different from podcasts where you put your podcast on all of these platforms. Yes, a lot of my clients get like messages but it's usually better to get the messages in real time. You can respond, you can have real conversations with the fans. Yeah, so I just feel like, engagements are usually better on live stream than, podcast episodes that you just upload and then somebody goes to type something after and then you don't even get to reply to those. Yeah, so
it's almost like one's live streaming is proactive. Excuse me, podcasting is a bit more reactive in doing. So again, it goes back to doing the both is got to be getting the best of both worlds for us all. And it's good. Listen, we're almost up to 30 minutes, mate. So a couple of key takeaways. We're going to have you back on at some point in the future. We're going to talk about this more and more and more because we are starting to get lots of interest from podcasters now. But really, before we sort of wrap up let's just sort of recap a little bit what we've done today. So from my side on the live streaming, it's all about the preparation and thinking about the planning and the tweaking the live stream so it will assist the podcast. Making sure it's got chronological is not the way. It's got a structure to it that is following. So just tweak our things a little bit more on our side.
Yes.
And once we've done the live stream, we download it to you. So just 30 seconds, walk us through the main aspects from your side for when you get it, what you do with it, and where it goes out to.
So I don't think I can squeeze all this information in 30 seconds. I feel like it will be more than. But yeah, so once you send us the raw audio, the first thing we do is, we're going to editing. We're going to finding ways to trim the long form content into like a smaller, more condensed, episodes that we can put out. And then, so after that, I go into mixing and mastering. I want the audio to sound the best way it can. So, I mix and I master the audio, let it sound good. And then I add all the sound effects, I add all the, the intro, outro. And then after that, the next step is, to go into creating the show notes. So for podcasts, so for live stream, there is something that happens where if you refer to something or you talk about something, sometimes you might not have the time to, be able to put it in the comments for people to see. But yeah, so when you turn your live stream into a podcast now, once you give me all of that, you send me all the information. Oh, okay, this is what the things that we refer to, this is what the guests I feature, this is how to find them. And so I'll create like a very engaging show notes and so that I can put when I'm uploading podcasts. And so after creating the show notes, so the next step is to create the the short form content. So I'll create engaging reels, with very nice captions. So sometimes I can use B-roll footages. Yeah, just anything that the client wants. But yes, I will create very engaging short form content that is on brand with the live stream or the podcast. Yes, and after that, next step is to put the podcast, the content on the platforms for publishing. So I can put like the audio on Podbean or yes, and then put the video on YouTube. And there's also an important part that we didn't talk about. I just realized that. So social media, we didn't bring up social media. We didn't bring up, creating those reels and posting them on social media. So I have an amazing assistant, is Blessing, and our work is so when I get like a new client, she goes to your social media and then she goes to like the analytics and tries to understand, oh, okay, what days are the best to post, what content are the best to put, how many, what's the gender of the people that are watching your content more. And so with all this information, we create the reels and she does scheduling. So she knows the best time to post and she's always there to, so she's also like an assistant. She's always there to reply to, each comment as people are commenting on the short form content. And then she also knows how to promote. So, you can promote on Instagram, you can promote on Facebook, you can do like all those Instagram ads. And so, yeah. So social media is the next. And yes, and so after everything is done, at the end of every month, we do analytics for our clients. So we come back and show you, okay, this is the amount of people that downloaded your podcast. This is the amount of people that listen. This is the amount of people that listen but did not download. This is the amount. So we'll give you all the analytics and then we'll tell you, okay, these are the ways we think you can improve. This is what we think, you can tweak, you can change this year. So we just try different approaches until we get to a point where the podcast is getting like a lot of downloads, a lot of listens every week. Yeah, so that's basically my approach.
I can't wait, brother. Honestly, I really, really can't wait. We did skip over social media because I get so used to it of pre-promoting and then doing the shorts and then we put out. I think, but you've also actually given me a couple more ideas that we haven't even spoken about, and the engagement piece because I normally do all the engagement. So listen, brilliant. We got to wrap up, but we're going to have you back on again, and we'll obviously put your details back on. But I encourage everybody now to, if you've got a recent live stream and you want to start thinking about how you can convert it to a podcast, then contact me or any of my team at livestreamsolutions.org. You can contact David and we'll put his links back up there, or can put you in directly in touch with him. Anyway, this is the start of a long journey for our collaboration as well. We'd love to hear about what you're doing already. If you've got a live stream and you want to go into a podcast, then let us know. If you're a podcaster and you want to start live streaming, conversely, then let us know as well, and we can have. Please contact myself or the team, and we will get you started on all of that. And until the end of March, that running at the bottom of there on all of the OneStream live plans. If you use the code BJS10, you get another 10% off. On this particular one, it's only to the end of March until this 8-week series finishes, so you can use that as well. And please go to OneStream Live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, subscribe. Everybody knows where I'm at livestreamsolutions.org or Joe Shep on Facebook or Joe Shepherd on LinkedIn. And send us a message if you want to know anything else. It all starts with a conversation. So there we go. That's it. It's a quick, rapid run through. It's not a deep dive. We'll be doing more of this on podcasting. We'll have David back on the show again, but I'd just like to thank him tonight. Music producer, songwriter, vocalist, podcast manager, video editor, David Olanrewaju, Da Vinci. Thanks for joining us, mate, and taking the time. And we look forward to having you back on again, mate. Take care.
Thank you so much. Take care.
So there we go. That's the end of the show. We're over. We're on to over the 30 minutes witching hour again. Looking forward to having David back on and getting him started with myself and Susie Manley on our new live stream and podcast show. Hopefully that is coming out in July. Again, using OneStream Live to begin with. Until next Tuesday, part 7. Please remember, live every day as if it's your last, because one day it will be, right? So every Tuesday, therefore, at 8 p.m. UK and Ireland, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and available on Catch Up. Join me, Big Joe Shep, for all the latest in live streaming and digital engagement updates and how to podcast and anything else. And remember, please, there is no show like a Big Joe show. Take care, stay safe. See you next Tuesday.